Okay, now let me bring you back to the memory lane. 30 years ago, you used to drive vehicles like this. There is lesser digital stuff on the dashboards, no GPS. Remember that? Everything was so normal, simple. With cassette player and the radio, you just turn on the radio. And I remember when I was a little boy, there is this fan on the dashboard, the fan. They installed this fan on the dashboard, and this is how cars used to be. But today, in the modern e-life, things changed. Alright? Everything is rechargeable. And if it's electricity powered by electricity, it will have certain energies that you can't see. Okay, we call it non-acoustic energies. Alright? Now, 30 years ago, these are the homes we used to live in. And my grandma always told me that during the night time, sometimes they just lit up a candle, and before they sleep, they don't have lights. There was lesser electronics and electrical appliances at home. But today, in the modern e-life, we are forced to install all this, and we call it home. And we are living in it as well. Okay? So today, I'm here to show you some invisible threat that you can detect using special equipment. Okay? Now, 30 years ago, this is our lifestyle, our children's lifestyles, and today, there you go. Our children are forced to put on gadgets, iPads, phones, for hours a day. So imagine what is the negative impact of all this, besides wearing a spectacle, okay, in return. So today I'm going to share with you more about this impact, okay? Now, I borrowed this slide from the next speaker, which is Dr. Pinkley. She presented this in many occasions, okay? Now, this slide goes like this. The background level of radiation have increased by 1 quadrillion times. How many times? And this is how much the background radiation has increased since the olden days. Now, what do you mean by background radiation? Background radiation is something that your eyes cannot see, you cannot feel it, but it is there in the background. Okay? And only special equipment can able to detect how high is it. Alright? So I took this slide from her, and this is bad. Okay, but if I have 1 quadrillion dollars in my bank account, I'll be happy. Okay, but not the background radiation. It's bad, alright? So in today's training, I did something new for you to take a reference. What I did was I went into 3 different settings, alright, to do the background radiation check. And the first setting, what I did here is in a natural setting. Okay, I did this test in this park where there is no building nearby whatsoever, there is no electricity, and there is this beautiful lake seated right in the middle of the park. It is a natural setting. I want you to take a look at the SDR app which I use in this test. I want you to see the dB unit level of this natural setting. Let's take a little video. Am I blocking you? No? Alright, good. Can test out 3 different settings in terms of background radiation noises, okay? And as you can see, I turned on the SDR software and tuned it to 72 megahertz. And the background noises in this environment is very low. It's averaging at about negative 75 dB. You can notice on the left here, it's negative 75. And let me show you where I am now. I'm actually in this beautiful nature setting. You can see the lake is right behind me and the trees as well. So in settings like this, the readings are fairly low. And you can come back to the screen again. It's averaging at about negative 75. Pause the video. Okay, now if you look at the y-axis towards the left, can you see where the cursor is, the hand cursor? My colleague is going to zoom in. So if you look at the average peak of the background radiation that the SDR is capturing, it is actually at negative 75 average. Okay, there is certain higher which is negative 70, but in average it's about negative 75. So can we remember this first number, negative 70? Alright, so remember this first number. This is from the natural settings, okay, or environment. Now can we go to the next one? So now this second video, I actually went to a housing estate. It's not from the park or the lake, it's housing estate. And this housing estate is where I used to live 30 years ago. Okay, so let's take a look at the video before I carry on. Okay folks, now back to experiment 2.
This is where I used to live, and I've actually tuned the SDR software to the same setting, 72 megahertz, and as you can see, the SDR is registering a lot of background energy. These are 1 spectrum, the noise level, and the dB scale is averaging about -35 to about -20 dB. As compared to yesterday, where we did the same experiment in the nature setting, where the SDR is actually registering a -75 dB. Okay, and back here, what you're seeing here is actually the high tension cable, and this is actually the environment I used to live more than 30 years ago. Okay, let's take a look at the contrast again. At 32 megahertz, the background noise is obviously higher, it's -25 megahertz.
So in this environment, I'm actually capturing a background radiation of an average of -25 dB. The first one is? You guys are paying good attention, okay? So the second environment, we are capturing an average of -25, which is much higher, okay? From a sub-zero calculation based on dB, it's much higher, okay, if it's lower number. Alright, now the third setting, I actually captured this 2 years ago, and it's actually in an indoor setting, which is it's actually in an Airbnb hotel setup. Alright, I went into this place. When I turned on the LED lights to prepare my meal in the kitchen, immediately I felt that there's this discomfort from my head. Okay, it's from the forehead itself. So as a technical guy, what I did was I pulled out the same gadget. I'm using the same gadget, same phone, alright, same hardware, and this is what I found out. Let's take a look at the video.
Okay guys, this is something really shocking. We rented this Airbnb and I've started to experience this unexplainable feeling whenever I go into the kitchen and prepare the food. So what happened was, we got this gadget here. So remember, I always say that our human body organs aggregate frequency is around 55 to 90, and we found that 72 is actually the brain frequency. So I'm going to hook up the software here to identify whether what causes my headache, because 72 is actually the frequency of your brain. So over here in this setting, we've got 2 LED lights. One above us, another one is actually the small one over here. The switch is over there. Okay, the switch is over there. So let me turn on the first switch of the LED, and I want you to see the noise spectrum from the LED lights. The first light. As I turn on the first LED light, as you can see, the noise spectrum came in at 72 megahertz, and the flux itself stretches from 72 all the way to about 72.3, and all the way down to about 73 megahertz. Okay, this is the first LED. And if I turn on the second LED above my head, which is the top one, I want to see that the noise field spectrum actually goes into a darker color. Okay? So let me show you the LED. This is the first one. Okay, this is the first LED. And I got my antenna right above that. The second LED is actually above my head. As you can see, the spectrum here, the noise became darker and darker. So this is what I found out in an enclosed indoor setting, alright? And I'm capturing an average of -20 dB. It's even higher than the one I took outside of my old house. Okay, now let me put all this together, side by side. So to give you a clear perspective, the first natural environment we are capturing about -75. If you were to do a dB fold increase calculation based on the formula, the second environment is actually 100,000 times stronger in terms of background radiation as compared to the first natural setting where I took by the lakeside. So far so good, okay? Now the third one, which is the one I took from the indoor, -20 average, is 316,000 times stronger as compared to the first natural setting where I took the radiation reading from the lake. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Okay? Now imagine you living in an environment without this equipment, you're not aware that the background radiation actually is that high. Okay? So don't be hasty, because later on I'll be showing a demonstration that I did in Hong Kong. Okay? How can MGuard harmonize and suppress targeted background radiation in this context? Alright? So before that, let me just bring you to a quick documentation. Because people always ask me, David, we are talking about noise, we are talking about background radiation. Is there any publications from PubMed or peer reviews that talks about the harmfulness of this?
So for those people who are new, PubMed is actually a free online search engine, and it's actually governed by the US National Library of Medicine. It's from one of the agencies, okay? And they actually post medical journals, health studies, and scientific research on diseases as well. Okay, so you guys might be able to use this in one of your presentation slides as well. Now, according to my research, one of the PubMed journal goes like this. This publication was done by this guy, Mr. Chun Song Hu. Alright, he's a Chinese guy. And look at the title, it says E-noise and increasingly relevant health risks. Okay, now let's look at the highlighted word here. Now, what do you mean by E-noise? E-noise is defined as signal from electronic products and instruments that emits radiation and electromagnetic fields. That's called E-noise. The reason why in my earlier slides I use E-life, which is an E-lifestyle. We are in the E-lifestyle now, and this so-called E-noise is able to cause these issues. Alright, now if you continue reading, which I forgot to highlight, it says it includes not only acoustic but also the non-acoustic noise. So non-acoustic noise means something that your ears cannot hear. Okay, it's not acoustic. There's a reason why we need that gadget, which is the SCR, to help you to detect the non-acoustic background radiation. So far so good. Okay, so this is the first step that we need to learn during the demonstration process. Now let's take a look. If you dive into this article, this is what it wrote there. E-noise can potentially cause all these problems highlighted. I'm not going to mention everything, you just read it, screen it. Fatigue, stress, headache, you name it. Alright? Now I want to take a look at the last line. First, E-noise at home or in the general modern environment may be genuinely threat to human health and will only increase in scope due to the popularity of personal computers and smartphones. Look around you. Any one of you here in this room, you do not use a smartphone. Show of hands. You do not use a smartphone. It is impossible, right? Even your kids these days, at the age of 7 and 8 years old, they got a smartphone. Okay, holding. So now when you see this, do you think that there is a big market for MGA? Yes. Is that right? Yeah? Yes. Okay. I believe that the smartphones in India, it's more than the population in India itself. Agree? Because some of you guys who are carrying 2 or 3 phones. Okay? So I believe that the number of phones in India is actually more than the number of people living in India. See? Alright? So now, so far so good? Alright, so I'm going to move to the next research. Now this research paper is talking about a survey done by a PhD doctor in America. And in this survey, he's actually interviewing 871 people. How many? 871. Okay? On the potential health effects that they felt after exposing to the E-noise. Okay? Now, this research shocked me. The top 5 issues you're seeing here, I actually put it in a red box. Okay? So the top 5 issues that you see here is 71% of them reported that they have sleep problems. How many percent? 71%. 64% reported fatigue. This is the same symptoms that you see from the earlier PubMed publication. Fatigue, stress, sleep problems, alright? 61% reported that they have concentration and memory learning problems. Okay? 60% of them say that they have stress and anxiety. And of course, the 5th one is headache. Remember I told you that I went to the Airbnb, I turned on the LED, I got this unexplainable headache, like a tension to my head, okay? Now you know what is the reason. Alright? Now, when you look at the top 5 problem, do you think that this problem is mental related issues? Something to do with your brain. Agree? Yes. Look at the 5th one, headache. Head, right? Okay? Then stress and anxiety, mental issues. Alright? Followed by concentration and memory learning problems, mental issues. Are you seeing something similar here? What about sleep problem? It is a mental issue. Your brain is not producing enough melatonin to make you sleep at night. It's that simple. Okay? So the top 5 problem is actually mentally related issues that are caused by EMF. That's the reason why one of the most important frequencies that MGUT harmonizes, it is actually at 72 megahertz. In all of your demo, I've been training you guys to tune the SDR wheel, 72. That's the magic number. Okay? Because according to this research, 72 megahertz is actually the aggregate frequency of the brain waves. Alright, this is actually the aggregate frequency of the operating brain frequencies based on this research. It's at 72 megahertz. And the developer of the MGUT knew about this 11 years, 15 years ago, and they started to dissect into this, and this is one of the many others. Okay? But they are comfortable to show you 72, but not the others because it's trade secret. Alright? But this is one of the most important frequencies for you to go out there and to do demonstration to your prospects. So far, so good. Alright? So now you understand why we're using 72 on the SDR, and because these are brain-related issues and we need to solve them. This is the reason why you are hearing customers or distributors for the past 2 years, when they use MGuard, they sleep better. When they use MGuard, they got lesser tension from the head. Unexplainable energy during long drives. Make sense? Yes. Very good. So how MGuard works? Very simple. Okay? Now MGuard protects you 4-meter radius. In diameter, it's stretched out to about 8 meter in diameter. If you put it in the middle, it goes 4 meter to the left, 4 meter to the right, 4 meter top, bottom is a circumference. Okay, it's a circumference. Now, I'm not going to go through this. It's on the website. You can just read it. I'm going to go to the next important point. Now, there is an institution that tests out the efficacy of MGuard. Okay, so this is actually from the University Science of Malaysia. Okay, so run by a team of PhDs and also guided by Dr. Professor Young. He has got 4 PhD holders. He's a 4 PhD holder, and he's leading his team to actually did this test on the efficacy of MGuard. Now, this test actually tests out how far can the MGuard covers. So if you look on this slide, it goes from 1 meter all the way to 6 meter, all in radius. Okay, but in Magic Study, the MGuard is covering up to 4. Now, being a Japanese company, they are being conservative. Okay, so MGuard can actually go beyond 4, but we said 4. Okay, now, so from this test itself, you look at the left-hand side. When MGuard is off, these are all the dBs that they capture from the environment. Okay, the first one from RS1, negative 23, 27, 25, 30. And when MGuard is on, they test out based on 1 meter and stretching out all the way to 6 meter. And these are the different dBs that you are capturing here. Okay, and in terms of percentage of suppression, based on calculation, it can effectively cover up to 6 meter in radius. So far, so good. Yes. Are these figures exciting? Yes. Okay, you need these figures to go out to do demonstrations. So during your sales process, I deem this as important. So what I did was I put everything into this PowerPoint slide, and after this event, we'll be uploading the slides to the official Telegram channel, so everyone can benefit from the slides. So far, so good. Okay? All right. So this is coming from a third-party institutional research, all right? And it's done by the 4 PhD holders. Now, I'm not going to go through all this. These are all technical stuff. You can read it on your free time, okay? Let me take a look at the conclusion. So these are all the different settings they put MGuard to test. And the conclusion is the MGuard electromagnetic noise radiation harmonizer successfully reduced unwanted electromagnetic noise between 25, 27, 71, 73. So these are a few simple frequency tests that they did based on some of the harmonics of the MGuard, alright? And it says that successfully reduced. Okay, so it's a confirmation that it works within a given range. So far, so good. Alright, so it's signed by Dr. Yam and he's a 4 PhD holder. Okay, now let me just put everything in a nutshell. MGuard utilizes harmonics frequency to suppress targeted electromagnetic noise radiation within a 4 meter radius. Okay, so this is the first proper way to describe how it works. Now the second one is rather important. The multiple layering of harmonics frequency is strategically programmed to target specific frequencies at 36, 72, 108 and more, all the way up to 1000 megahertz. So this is how it works. Now don't ask me why they set up 36, 72. These are all between Enagic and developer. Okay, so the information stops here. Even I myself, I don't have knowledge on why they do it then and where is it engineered. So far so good. Okay, so there you go. Now, this is the latest video I did in Hong Kong. Are you excited? Yes. Now, when you think about Hong Kong, what do you think about? Tall buildings, many buildings, high density, crowded buildings. Now, so what happens when you have crowded buildings? The intensity of the radiation should be higher than a rural area like mountain range or even in the villages. So far so good. So when I go to Hong Kong, every time I have got this problem. And whenever my MVAT is not on, I feel that there is a tension to my chest. Okay, and also head as well. So I checked into this hotel, and as a technical guy, immediately I pulled out the same tool, the gadget that I use, and this is what I found out. Are you ready? Yes. Let's take a look at the video. Okay guys, I'm in the middle of Hong Kong City, and I'm going to test the background radiation level in my hotel room, okay? So I've actually pulled out my SDR software and tuned it to specifically 72 megahertz, and this is actually the data that's been capturing from my SDR software. If you look at the decibel here, it's averaging about negative 25 decibels, okay? Now that's before I turn on the LED lights. Now what happens when I turn on the LED lights now? Okay, the lights are on, and if you notice, the average dB increases from negative 25 to about negative 20. Okay, look at the peaks there, alright? So what I have here is my MGAR next to the window. So let's see what happens when I turn on the MGAR. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. So it harmonizes 72 megahertz and it suppresses the radiation to about negative 25. Now let's do a control by removing the power line. Immediately the radiation comes back to negative 25 to 20. And go again, there you go. So MGAR is able to protect you in situations and environments like this. Alright? Thank you very much. So the demo is that simple. It is instantaneous. Alright, speed of light. And it is as well as you dropping the pH testers into the Kangen water, it turns purple. It's that simple. Okay? Or when you drop pH testers into acidic water, then you pour some Kangen water in, it turns purple. It is instantaneous. Okay? So this is one of the ways that how we show, the efficacy of MGAR, and I deem this tool as compulsory. You need this to do the MGAR business. It is very hard for you to talk about the benefits. Okay? Now what you learned yesterday, no demo, no sales. So this is one of the demo process that you need to adopt and learn in order for you to do best results in MGAR. Okay? Alright? So this video is for you as well. You don't have to repeat the video, you can just play my video and show it to your prospects. It's very straightforward. Okay? So the next one, I'm going to just emphasize on one of the most powerful benefits of the MGAR. And this is the reason why the MGAR is built from the first place. Earlier on, Simon was playing a video by a doctor, Dr. Roland, okay? So now, the developer of MGAR developed this. The R&D begins about 15 years ago. How many years? 15 years ago, okay? Because the developer and the inventors, they believe that in the next 15 years, people will need this technology because they are seeing a trend. They're seeing a mobile phone trend. More and more people are using smartphones, okay? More electronic gadgets. And back then, they're actually forecasting that, there could be flying cars or even electrical chargeable motorbikes and cars. And what happens? It realized today. Okay, everything came realized today. So based on 15 years ago, they found out that this doctor has been doing research on how EMF is able to affect your blood, which is one of the most important cells in the body, the red blood cell. Okay? Now according to Dr. Magda Havers, she discovered that when we are exposed to EMF or EMR energy, your blood is going to stick together. It's called rouleau formation. Now that promotes poor circulation, low oxygen transports, and it reduces waist removals, headache, fatigue. So these are the symptoms that you get. Now, any one of you here, you have actually experienced this. When you walked into certain offices, or maybe a working room, or a cyber cafe. You guys know what cyber cafe these days? It's already sunset, okay? It's no longer around. But those days, a lot of cyber cafes. Because these cafes, they put in lots of computers, maybe 30, 40 computers. Okay, so you go in there, you rent the computers, and you can go on the internet. Okay, so it is pretty popular back in those days. Now, any of you here, when you go into places like this, last time before you doing a gun, you're actually having this unexplainable discomfort. Or offices, or maybe you go into a place where there's this bright LED. Okay, you turn on the lights, immediately you feel that there's this tension on your head. Anyone? Yeah. Okay, there you go. So look at the symptoms. Headache and fatigue is part of the EMR exposure. You guys are exposing to this invisible energy, and you're not aware that it's actually causing you that symptoms and problems. Okay? So based on this, if you look at this, she exposed herself to 70 minutes of computer and look at what the blood looks like on the left. Okay? So it starts to stick together. It's like crinkled potato chips. Okay? Stacked together. And she's exposing herself to just 10 minutes of wireless cordless phone, and the blood actually went into what she called as a critical rouleau formation. And according to Dr. Magda Harvard's video, she said that this is normally what she sees in her cancer patients and diabetic patients' blood. And you can actually achieve the same condition by just exposing yourself to the EMF. Is that alarming? That's alarming. What if today I tell you that by just turning on the M guard and spending time within the harmonized zone, you and I and your customers and your loved one can potentially mitigate this problem? Is there a market for it? Yes. And today I'm going to just tell you that Energic is the one and only company in this world that has got this technology. There is no competition for M guard, period. Is that the good news? Okay? Now, the next video, I'm going to replay for those people who came late. This is a short one, it's a trimmed down version. We have got doctors to actually put Dr. Magda Harvard's theory to test. Okay? So what they did was they actually asked the respondent to play the handphone for about 20 minutes. After that, they turned on the M guard for another 20 minutes, and this is what they found.
What we can do is, you get on your phone for maybe close to about half an hour, holding it, and then we'll check again and see how does the capillary blood look like.
It looked like my first blood test result was clean, with no signs of blood clotting or blood clumps. But will just 30 minutes of cell phone usage really do any harm at all to my body? I hope not. Let's find out.
Let's have a look. So you can see all the cells now being stacked. See, all of them are, you cannot see those loose cells. You can see most of the cells now all stacked.
Front back together, right?
Exactly. Just look at that. The big message is always to try to reduce our exposure. It's almost impossible not to use, but try to be a bit more cautious in the usage.
The thing is, I know you say it's better to reduce. It's impossible for somebody like me, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that also need to be holding their phones. So, is there anything I can do?
This is the device that can actually help harmonize your electromagnetic frequency with. And you want to see how it works?
Sure.
Come.
With the environment harmonizer turned on beside me, Dr. Roland and I proceeded to do a third blood test to see just how well this technology supposedly suppresses EMR. Okay, so this looks completely different to the last test, doesn't it?
Yep. Then looks different, lesser
Now, for your information, this is a control test. I've actually asked the guy who tested this. It's actually a control test. He didn't drink any water. It's actually from fasting. So they did a control test, and these are the results. Okay. Now we've been playing the same video for the past 1.5 years, and some people they actually asked me, "Do you have any other medical doctors that actually did the same test as well?" And eventually we found out there is one doctor, local doctor. So he wanted to repeat this, and he did it in his own clinic back in Malacca. His name is Dr. C, and he's kind enough to actually give us a video testimonial on the results. So we got his results as well. So would you like to see that? Yes. Okay, so the next video is this guy, and he did the same test. He's a medical doctor. Let's see what he's got to say about this.
Thank you. I'm Dr. C, a wife of husband of Grace Mary, who is a distributor. I've been recently for the past few months have been testing about the evidence whether this M guard really can cause the microcirculation to be better. And usually I will do it on those who come to me. I prick the finger before they were exposed to M guard. Then 20 to 30 minutes after they were with M guard, I prick another time to see whether the rouleau formation of the blood has been separated truly. Of all the cases that have been, the rouleau formation stopped and the red blood cells start to separate singly. And this is something very phenomenal and always true.
So this image here on the left, thank you so much. Okay, today's doctor. Okay, so this is actually the image that he got from his clinic, and before 20 minutes of usage of MGuard, and after 20 minutes, you can see that it's actually going, singly separating into single hemoglobin cells as well. Okay, less cluttered in a way. So also good. Okay, now this is actually the most, I would say, technical conclusion of what MGuard can do to someone. So during your demonstration, let's say your customer's asking, so what is the value of MGuard? I suggest you to use this description as a proper explanation, okay? So when we are in sync with the MGuard's harmonized zone, we can potentially lower or raise from negative effects of radiation, affecting our sleep's energy level, eyes, microcirculation of the blood, and rouleau formation. Okay, so this is what MGuard can do. But the first thing is, you need to be in sync in the harmonized zone. If you leave too far away from the harmonized zone, you're not seeing the results, okay, because you're not in the zone itself. So far, so good. Okay, so you can use this as part of your marketing description. Okay, now I'm going to end my session today by introducing you the tools that I've been using for the demo. It's important, right, in business? So all you got to know or got to learn is there's two SDR tools. One, it's on the left, you can see this, okay? So that one is a more complicated tool. You need an Android phone to power that up, okay? Now another one is called the Bahaya SDR, which is a plug and play. There's a screen on it. You do not need to attach it to the phone. You just have to recharge it, okay? And everything is already preset for you as well. So these two tools, it's very important in your MGuard business because you need to use this tool for your demos. Alright? Now I would like you to take a look at Simon's video. He shot this perfectly. I'm going to just play it, okay? So these two I'm holding here is exactly what Simon's holding in this video. This is called the Bahaya SDR detector. So for those people who are using iPhone, you're not using an Android, you can't use the first one because that one is only compatible with an Android. So you need this, okay? Now let me just describe to you what is the difference between the Bahaya and the Android SDR. The Android SDR is something like a pH meter. pH meter. Okay? So when you drop a pH meter into the Kangen water, it shows you very precise, maybe 9.6 pH. So that one, complicated but more precise. So far so good. It is more accurate, it is more sensitive, it is more precise. So for those people who are really serious about the business, you need to learn both as well. Okay? Now for the second one, which is what Simon is holding. Now this one works like a pH tester. The liquid pH tester. So when you drop the tester in the water, it turns blue, it turns purple, it turns green. It is giving you a rough indication of the pH. Okay? But it is not as precise as the first two, which is Android. So far so good. Are you getting me? Yes. Okay? But this one is good for those people who are not using Android phone, you're using Apple. Because a lot of people are using Apple. So this is the second best option in order for you to show demo to your prospects. So far so good. Let's take a look at this video before I end my session today.
Hi everyone, today I'm very excited to share with you another great marketing tool that you can use for your MGuard demo. It's called the Bahaya SDR detector. And what I love about this detector is it has a big screen and it's very easy to set up and use. It's not affected by static interference. And it also has a loudspeaker for you to use during your MGuard demo. You'll know what I'm talking about later on. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce David right there. David, say hi to the camera. Hello. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a before and after MGuard test using the Bahaya. Alright, and I want you to see the difference on the screen. So I'm going to turn on the detector. And once it's turned on, the first thing you can see is this waterfall spectrum that comes down. And what you will notice is I've actually tuned the Bahaya to 72 megahertz because that is the operating frequency of our brain. And you will notice the noise radiation level here via the dB scale. Alright? And these are all the data of the noise radiation. So I'm also going to turn on the speaker for you guys to hear. Alright, and in the count of 3, David's going to turn on the MGuard, and I want you guys to see the difference. In 3, 2, 1, go. Take a look at that. Alright, so what you will notice is instantly the dB scale noise level has reduced, and the green color wave spectrum has already been cleared to a very dark blue color, which means this area is cleared off of the noise interference. Alright, so let's do another test. Let's pull out the M guard again and turn it off, and you will see everything comes back instantly. And now with the M guard turned on again, you would see instantly the results. So this is simply amazing, right? Now the bar.
Okay, let me clarify something. The blue screen here, which is the multiple spectrum, you can only see this result when you're in an open space. Okay, so in that office setting, it's an open space, open table, so you're seeing a very clean blue color when you turn on the M guard. But when you do live demos in people's house, and if let's say the noise or the background radiation in that particular environment is so high, you won't see the full blue color. It's normal. Okay? Normally you just see maybe still some light green patches here and there. It is normal. As long as you're seeing that there is a color change, means the M guard is working. Okay? Because this tool is a page tester, it will show you a rough estimation. So it's not as accurate as the Android tool. So far so good. Okay, so this is something that I need to make clear. And we don't have much left. Okay, what we did was we're actually helping you to order some of these from China. The tools, I think we left about maybe 50 units, that's it. Alright, so if let's say you still need this for your download yourself, you can just get out there later on to get your units later. And we have actually pre-tuned everything for you, and you can just plug and play and recharge it, okay? And for those people who will not get it today, don't worry. Look for the model. You can buy it on any e-commerce website. It is a third-party software. Okay, you can just go on, you name it, Alibaba, Amazon, Lazada, Shopee. It's available on the e-commerce website. So far so good. Alright? Okay. So I'm going to end my session by showing you some QR codes here. Now to the left is actually the official M guard Telegram channel. I think today we got